Hello, I'm Full Paragon, and this is your guide to Stunlock the Musical featuring the Lightning Wyvern, not the Light Wyvern. Like his cousin the Light Wyvern, the Lightning Wyvern is extremely annoying. In his case, he will bind your team with each of his regular attacks, and on the first turn. The waves for this boss will be 4 little minions, so you'll need to bring some wave clear for that. On turns 2 and 4, he will use a debuff, first for magic attack, and then physical for attack. His ultimate, however, does not bind, only the regular turns in his first turn do. Because of this, you need some agility down to skip as many of those binds and debuffs as possible. The big 2 units here are Vanir and Onsen Melissa. Vanir is vital because he has a typed Earth ultimate, as well as having an agility debuff for the boss, and a 6-second cooldown cut in his kit. Unfortunately, his 3-star version just won't cut it. He can't do nearly as much damage without that cooldown cut. In the same vein, there is no substitute for Onsen Melissa. While you can try using an off-element weakness debuffer, the fact of the matter is she's far superior to the other options, which would really be Idol Kazuma or Original Mel. You need these 2 units if you want to compete for the top 1k. So, who else to add with Vanir and Onsen Melissa? The best bet is probably Casino Mitsurugi. He has a Bind Cleanse on one of his skills, and his ultimate offers both a tier 3 attack buff, as well as some much needed recovery to keep Onsen Melissa alive. You can use his 3-star version and get away with it, he just doesn't have that Bind Cleanse, so you're going to have to substitute some thoughts and prayers instead. The highest DPS here though is going to be Summer Krish. She doesn't have any recovery options, and the boss deals a lot of damage, meaning a team that uses her up front instead of Mitsurugi is going to be rather fragile. Still, her cooldown cut and self-agility buff are quite powerful. If you're worried about survivability and you want to make sure that you won't be debuffed, you can try using School Leah. She's the best character in Earth with a debuff block, and actually the only one. Unfortunately, she doesn't really have any damage buffs, though her tier 2 agility buff is kind of nice. You're probably better off going with a character who has a damage buff. Speaking of characters with damage buff, Casino Wiz has a tier 2 magic damage buff in her kit, which isn't quite as good as a tier 3 attack up, but she also has lightning damage cut, which can keep your team alive just as well as some recovery options. She also has an earth typed ult, so she's kind of a viable choice, although I don't think she's the ideal one here. And as always, Iris is great in that last slot, providing some incredible burst damage if she comes in at the last moment. Other options would be New Year Aqua. She provides some last moment recovery, as well as an ult gauge buff and a little tier 1 agility buff. She doesn't do a lot of damage herself, but she's good at coming in and boosting your team to cross that finish line. Megumin has good burst and wave clear. She's ideal up front, but she will of course faint, and if you're having trouble surviving, she's not going to be the best option. If you don't have Vanir, you can kind of substitute Ballroom Kazuma. He has that Snipe ultimate for a tier 3 agility debuff, but he doesn't have an earth typed ult and doesn't do nearly as much damage, nor have the self recovery of Vanir. And if you don't have Onsen Melissa, well, try the other Mel. Original Mel has a good kit with a weakness debuff and some decent damage, but she really can't hold a cannonade to Onsen Melissa in her home element. If you want to go all in with the Wiz and Vanir combo, I would suggest this team with Vanir, Onsen Melissa, and Wiz up front. You might swap Melissa to the 4th slot and put Megumin up front, but I think this team as it is will work quite well. The pros here are those typed basics along with a weakness debuff, and Wiz and Vanir will keep themselves alive with their self here. The cons is that Melissa will probably die here, so you won't have too much time on that weakness debuff once she's dead. It's not the best team, but it can work, and of course, Vanir will be able to bully Wiz for selling some absolutely garbage items. The team I personally will probably go with will feature Vanir, Casino Mitsurugi, New Year Megumin, then Onsen Melissa in the 4th slot, and Iris in the last slot. The reason for this is I really want some more wave clear, so Casino Mitsurugi and Megumin will be up front to provide that. I don't really need Onsen Melissa to get her off all that much, so she's going to go in the 4th slot so she can come in and debuff the boss with a weakness debuff, while Vanir and Mitsurugi charge their ultimates, Iris for some last second DPS. I can't promise that this will be the best team, but I think it'll be one that will definitely be able to get into the top 1k, possibly even the top 100 with some good luck. As I mentioned, there are a few other alternative characters that can use here, but more and more welfare and 3-star units just aren't going to cut it if you want to compete for top arena ranks. That's the video. Thanks for watching. Christmas is right around the corner, which will bring us lots of good cheer, as well as a completely overpowered new unit too. I don't believe it. Vanier's brought in an outside contractor, and together they've stolen Christmas. This is actually a good thing, as it means the meta won't go topsy-turvy just in time for New Year's. Instead, we'll be getting another filler banner, and I hope you have a very merry holiday with some good luck in your arena runs this week. Check back again soon, as I'll actually be posting the updated tier list in the next few days.